Ladies and gentlemen, teachers, staff, colleagues, parents, friends, leavers and graduating students, welcome to the graduation ceremony for Year 13s this year. A very strange and a very different graduation ceremony. As I think we all know, I think wearing masks has become a bit of a habit for us all in the past 3.5 months. But we are here to celebrate and we're here to say farewell. Jeddah Prep and Grammar School and the people around us virtually for this event, and many others I'm sure supporting and thinking of us outside again, have tried to prepare you to be ready for your life ahead. They've equipped you with the grit and determination, the resilience to succeed and to overcome the inevitable knockbacks along the way. In life, sometimes it's easy to feel defeated at times, and I think once again in the past 3.5 months we've all felt a little bit low and perhaps a little bit defeated. But do try to view those moments as a challenge, and if possible, as an opportunity, because positivity attracts positivity, and positive people are generally great to be around. Try to remember to put relationships and friendships first above all else. Your A-level grades will never be the way that you are judged, perhaps after this summer. The quality of your interactions, your relationships and friendships will be the measure that matter both at university and beyond. Try not to be too hard on your parents. Bear in mind that in many ways they still think of you as primary aged children. Remember to phone them, even perhaps when you don't need money. Stay in touch with the people around you. Only they and your family knew you when you were a child, and keeping in touch with your real self will help you to be honest and true and grounded. Come back when you can. For example, we will be hosting, God willing, JPGS alumni dinners and many school events. And we'll be talking maybe with you later on about those. Don't just stick to the people who are like you. Reach out and listen to those who have different interests and backgrounds. And even more importantly, perhaps, volunteer generously your time. So we're looking to the future, but we're taking, I think, the time to try to get things right. So no matter what you get in your forthcoming exam session, whether they were grades that you were wanting or expecting, you are now at the start of a journey that is as yet undefined. Grab that precious opportunity with both hands and be bold. Get the little things right. Try to be on time. Try to treat each other kindly, to be respectful, to work hard, and as I've said before, try not to give up, even when it's hard. Take the time to enjoy this time of your life as much as you can and try to keep options open. And when you look back, trust me, you will remember what I think we will all remember, this period of your life as a time of expanding horizons when the world feels full of possibilities. In essence, make a difference. Over your time here at Jeddah Prep and Grammar School, you have absorbed not only information and knowledge and skills, but also, I know, values, culture, and history. Take that experience and use it to make a difference in the world. Have big dreams and ambitions. A love of learning and of trying is a habit that good schools inculcate in young people. Certainly you will need it at university, at work, and simply to make the most of enjoying your life ahead. Keep on learning and good luck.
Dear parents, fellow graduates, and respected teachers, if truth be told, this is the 5th installment of my speech. Every time I sit down to write it, I'd get lost in thought. I never knew where to begin. Maybe year 7, back when we first joined grammar school. Do you guys remember how we had that weird 2-week schedule system? Yeah, it was an odd year to say the least. It was also the first year of the student council, something that would ultimately become a huge part of my life. I wondered if I should start the speech in year 6. That was also an odd year. We were in the Jubilee building. Actually, the only year that building was used before it got condemned. The school just introduced merits and demerits to the grammar school, and somehow we managed to get that implemented on us. Because of our terrible behavior, of course. Do you guys remember how that fake intruder came into our class and started, throwing tables around? Everyone was freaking out. All I can remember was I went into attack mode and threw my scissors and started kicking and having a time of my life while everyone was freaking out. I even remember how they brought in a teacher assistant who was supposedly a part of the military to straighten us out, which, of course, didn't work. It's funny. Superficially, you wouldn't be able to tell that the men and women we are today had this as our history. But more shocking is that when you scratch below the surface, we're really the same people. We're just as dumb, just as funny, just as ridiculous. We just grew up and learned how to hide it better. A perfect example being Asad and his completely cynical approach to sarcastic jokes that never hurt my feelings or anything. Or how Umar acts so smart that we truly believe he'll be able to levitate, but then gets gassed by the second round. Or Rayyan with his perfect routines and his yoga and his stretching, but then he disregards all reasoning and eats more canes than he's willing to disclose. Don't even get me started about Abdul Jalil. The amount of things that man has gotten away with is truly frightening. And at this point, I'm convinced that everyone, and I mean everyone, knows exactly what he's doing. It's just easier to let it slide than to reason with him. Some would say he finessed the system. Just like Bara and how he doesn't need to take his medication anymore. Yeah, sure buddy, keep doing you, you Muay Thai prodigy. I can go on forever with these stories of what we did, but for the sake of my friends, I'll stop, because our stories stop here. We won't be creating any more high school memories. To be honest, the more I think about it, the sadder it seems. I mean, who wants to let go of those times? We'll never experience anything remotely close to that ever again. And it's not just because we were in high school, but it's because of our unique situation. I mean, the small year group who have been together for over a decade, who notoriously had a boring time compared to all other schools because of the lack of drama and fighting. I mean, who gets to look back at high school and say it wasn't filled with dread and tough times, rather the best of experiences with friends, and only ever that. No weird awkward division between groups, no awkward misunderstandings and fightings, just a collective group of people, of friends, a second family. It's sad to let that go, but what would be sadder is to cling on to those memories with dear life. When I look back at these times, I refuse to be sad, and I wish I was back there. I'll continue looking forward because I am now the product of all the fun times we had, and I don't need to look over my shoulder because I carry you all with me, in my head and in my heart. Before the presentation continues, I'd like to take this time to be a little selfish. I would like to thank Mr. Bedford and Mr. Ahmed for giving me the opportunity this year to be head boy, as well as Mr. Bedford for trusting in me last year as well as the chair of the student council. I would like to thank Cameron for everything he's done. No cap, this year would have sucked if I didn't have someone as reliable as you in my corner. I'd like to thank Poppy for coming back as deputy head girl and practically carrying the head team all year long, as well as just being a fun friend all around. I want to thank Maryam as well, who was asked to do an impossible task without even preparing for it by taking the role of head girl and exceeding all expectations. I can't forget my friends either. Umar, for always being there and willing to have a conversation with me and proved that he's more intelligent than me, which he's not. Bara, for somehow sneaking into our friend group and becoming a constant source of motivation to train and get stronger. Rayyan, for being the most understanding person I've ever met in my life. And Abdul Jalil for 14 years of the weirdest brotherhood I've ever experienced, and with many more years to come inshallah. I should also mention my older brothers Nizar and Ibrahim for teaching me humility and what it is to be a man. I'd like to thank my father for teaching me respect and the importance of behavior over everything. My mother for building my character and showing me what true strength is. My little sister Yasmin for proving to me that anyone at any age can be powerful and deal with anything. my baby brother Abdullah for copying everything I do and taking it to the nth degree, as well as constantly making fun of my advanced vocabulary, but then use a word like dichotomy to describe an anime. And finally, Rilla, everything I'm capable of is because of you. I hope one day I'm able to inspire others the way you've inspired me. Finally, I would like to thank Mr. McGarry on behalf of every student that's ever been a part of our school. Without you, the school would have never reached the heights it has, and more than that, your impact on students far exceeds the time we spend in school. I've spoken to former head team members from multiple different year groups, and they never fail to mention how much of an impact you had on them. We will all truly miss you very much, and we all wish you the very best. Finally, without taking up any more time, I'd like to introduce the next speaker, the head girl, Maryam Kamil.
Hello everyone, fellow graduates, friends, family, colleagues. I'd like to welcome you all to the Jeddah Prep and Grammar School online graduation. I don't really know how to segue into this, but I hope you're all well and safe during this very tough time that we're all going through right now. This year has been unlike any other, 2020 feeling like the season of a show that doesn't really end, with so many things happening day in and day out. Although we're all stuck at home, which seems like an attractive idea, it can be a little bit overwhelming. I think the best way to describe this year is to say that it's unpredictable, in more ways than one. Just like waking up in the morning and realizing that school is cancelled. It can also get a little bit more personal, I think, with how I switched my career focus in just a few days from business to art, or to waking up on the first day of school to find out that I was literally the only girl in year 13. Although I probably wouldn't have been able to get through it without Poppy's support inside and outside of the head team. This year has undoubtedly been the most unpredictable yet, but I think that we can all find the beauty in the spontaneous nature of the events this year, and have it teach us that not everything is set in stone. Things can change with just the blink of an eye. You shouldn't dwell on things that should have, could have, or would have been, as it'll all play a significant part in the years that follow. But enough about now, let's talk about the journey. I've been a student at JP for around 7 years now, and although 7 years truly is a long time, I feel like it's passed really quickly. These past 7 years have been really an experience, and I feel like I've learned and grown a lot. After being here for almost a decade, I've learned that the most important thing is to stay true to yourself and to your goals, no matter how much others try to discourage you or put you down, and that everything happens for a reason, no matter how cheesy that sounds. One thing that definitely had a great impact on my life was feeling loss. Loss can come in many different shapes and forms, and it can feel like something was ripped out of you, but I think that these things only make you stronger moving forward. Something that my dad told me was that life is a train. You get on and you meet a bunch of people that stick with you for the journey. Some end up getting off at an earlier stop than intended. Some do come back, and some don't. But that's life. This journey at JP has truly been kind of like a roller coaster from start to finish, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I really enjoyed everything and all the support that I've gotten from people, and I wouldn't be here without my parents, without their undying love and support for me, even though I changed my mind pretty much every single day. And with their help through my ups and downs on this wacky roller coaster, I want to personally thank them from the bottom of my heart. They don't know what was written in this speech, so it's kind of a surprise for them. And I would also like to thank my brother, who's being the best brother I could ever ask for. And to my mom and my dad, just for dealing with me for this long. And I love them all so much. Kind of moving on to Jeddah Prep, I'd like to thank the head team, Poppy, Cameron, and Khalifa, for being one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. Although we couldn't really do much this year, I still enjoyed spending time with them and planning everything that would have been, like the events and the color run and all of that kind of stuff. And Amarua, Adam, and Dudi, even though most of them aren't in Jeddah Prep anymore, they all hold such a great place in my heart and have had such a big part in this journey. Other friends that are equally as important are my 4 closest friends, probably ever, Erica, Ellery, Mitch, and Yassine. They've been supporting me on my art from day one, and I probably would have given up on animation if it weren't for them. So I just want to say thank you to those people. And last but not least, I want to thank all the teachers that have helped me get through this journey, whether it just be by helping out or just teaching and being in their classes overall. And my topmost 3 influential teachers are Mr. Mahmoud, which has probably been my backbone in Jeddah Prep. I've been taking sociology for 4 years now, and it's definitely probably my favorite part of the day. I just really enjoy the classes, and yeah. Mr. McGarry for encouraging me to switch to animation when I was going through like a lot of conflict, whether I should change or not, and for just having an overall impact and influence on a lot of what I stand for today, and just for being a big inspiration. And lastly, Mr. Jamrose for just overall being really nice and dealing with a lot of what our year group has to throw at him, and for just chasing after this all the time for like the Cambridge like statement of entry and information and that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you for listening to my speech. I know it might have been a little bit boring, but I hope you all enjoy the rest of the presentation, and I hope you're all staying safe. Bye!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed such a pleasure to bid farewell to our graduates of 2020. It's a poignant moment since we've become emotionally vested in them from the time they stepped into grammar school 7 years ago. On one hand, we are happy to release our charges into a world that holds endless possibilities. On the other, we question whether we've prepared them enough. As teachers of JP, we pride ourselves into assuming that this band of young men and women will take on the challenges of this uncertain world and emerge victorious. Rightfully so, because amongst us we have the makings of future statesmen, engineers, doctors, medical staff, scientists, writers, mathematicians, whatever else that they choose to be. Some of the lessons that we leave with them would be to be humble. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A great man is always willing to be little." And amongst you, there is Asad Ghaffar, Hamza Qasim, Rainier Kut, all brilliant, great minds, but humble as pie. Be a great negotiator. Sir David Frost said diplomacy is the art of letting someone else have your way. Learn from Abdur Rahim. He was always negotiating with his teachers to get the least amount of work. Even Tariq Asher is the quintessential diplomat. Don't say too much, don't say too little. Be industrious. Mahatma Gandhi said satisfaction lies in the effort and not in the attainment. Amongst you, I've seen hard-working students, Umar Bilal, Amjad, Amar Khatani, and always be on time, like Marianne Camel. Be the best. Challenge yourself. Be fearless. Nelson Mandela said, "A brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but it is he who conquers that fear." Take on your challenges. Khalifa was in a wheelchair, but he still wanted to zip line. Nothing stopped Ajmal from dribbling against the great Mr. Lowe. Even Bara, with all his boxing tricks, would take you on. Poppy took on all the boys. She was not afraid, and she beat them at go-karting. The essence of being human is that one does not seek perfection. Be the best version of yourself. Be like Jalil. Walk around with a green glass filled with sugar and call it healthy. And then you'd have Cameron, happy-go-lucky, always smiling. But he was not afraid to ditch football to go to the kitchen and enjoy chicken curry. Be the best version of yourself. Make us proud. All the best, 2020 graduates. Thank you.
Morning and welcome to this very unique and special graduation celebration of our class 2020. I'm very proud of all our year pupils graduating. I'm very proud to see them achieve so much over this last year in particular, and especially during this very difficult last term. To the parents, I'd like to say that I'm sure it's not been very long that your children start at this school, somewhat overwhelmed by the whole grammar school experience, and now here they are, accomplished, confident and successful young men and women. Let me thank all the parents for your support and active participation in your child's education over these last years. To our graduates, this is a major step in your journey, one that should be recognised for its immense significance. It is not only an act of personal commitment, but also one of pride. You've worked very hard to get to this point, and you deserve recognition for that. You've made it to this point in your education and are now prepared and ready to tackle the next steps and the next challenges in your lives, which will ensure that you grow further as people and as students to take your rightful place in society. You're a credit to yourselves, your families, and the school. Growth comes in many ways: personal development, attaining skills, knowledge, and attributes. You've embraced the challenges that come with being a pupil here and as you've gone through your education with us. Life itself is about growing and about being successful. I know university will give each and every one of you new opportunities to continue to grow and to continue to learn new skills which you'll carry with you for the rest of your lives. This graduation, even though it's virtual, is not ideal, but gives us an opportunity to say thank you to you. I'd also like to thank our staff, the leadership team, Mr. McGarry for all his hard work over the years, our faculty staff who've given so much to our pupils up to this journey and this point. To our graduates, believe in yourselves so that you may reach your goals and fulfill your dreams. Be the best that you can be so that you may fill your lives and the lives of those closest to you with happiness and with pride. Let me wish you all the very best for the future. Once again, congratulations, class of 2020. Thank you.
What springs to mind when you think of a successful school? State-of-the-art buildings? The latest technology? No, this is not what shapes us and makes us who we are. We at JPGS have something which is far more important. We have the most amazing, dedicated and caring teachers out there. Teachers who genuinely care about each and every single one of us. Teachers who will do anything in their power to ensure you become the best person you possibly can. Teachers who can spot everyone's potential, hone in on it, extract it, and turn it into something special. Teachers who will make you believe in yourself as much as they believe in you. Teachers who put all of us first, every single time. I am sure Mrs. Matthew has often gone home and wept following a double biology lesson with me. I can almost see Mr. McGarry wringing his hands in despair following yet another double literature lesson and wondering how much more a human can take. And Mr. Mason questioning on numerous occasions if history really should have been my chosen path. But without their unwavering support and never-ending patience, I would surely not be standing here today. We take education for granted. We almost all moan from time to time about having to get up for school at 6 a.m. or having to revise or sit yet another exam, or can it really be another double lesson? But imagine having that opportunity snatched away from you at 14, at an age where you are just starting to think about your aspirations, your future, your dreams. And then imagine that, instead of waking up at 6 to go to school, you were going to work down the coal mines for 14 hours a day, a filthy, dangerous job. This was the reality less than 80 years ago for my grandfather's generation. I've been in JPGS for 10 years now, and I can honestly say it was a journey, a long journey, filled with challenges and memories and change. But we're here, we're graduating, and with this amazing journey coming to an end, I couldn't be more proud of all that we've accomplished. Education gives you freedom, the freedom to embark on your chosen career, freedom to express your views and opinions in a confident, persuasive manner, freedom to be you and make a difference. Thank you, Mr. Bedford and team, for giving me this opportunity. It has been a pleasure working alongside you. Khalifa, Mariam, Cameron, I'm so grateful for your friendships, and I couldn't ask for better people to be in the head team with. My closest friends. Farah, you've always been there for me and helped me with so much. You make me laugh more than anyone, and I'll never ever forget the so many memories we've created, or how we pretty much live together on the weekends. To Amr, Rayan, AJ, Ramin, or to those of you who are no longer a part of JPGS or never were, Dudi, Lamar, NG, Suha, Millie and Izzy. I wouldn't have gotten this far without you. And of course to my fellow graduates. You are all so important to me, and I can't thank you enough for everything. For making my time at JPGS so much fun. I wish you all the very best of luck because you all deserve it, and I know everyone here is going to do remarkable things. This world belongs to us, this generation. For the next 50 years, let's make it a better place. Mum, Dad, you truly are such incredible people, and I wouldn't have been able to achieve half the things I have without you. You're my biggest role models and my biggest inspiration. You mean the absolute world to me, and if I'm even half the people you are one day, I'll know I've done good. Hattie, shine bright like I know you will. You're going to be amazing, and I'm so lucky that I have a sister who's also my best friend, and who has such a beautiful soul. You're going to make your mark on this world. Ollie, keep being the charming little angel that everyone knows you to be, and Archie, not so much an angel, but you're still just as charming nevertheless. I'm so proud of you both, and don't forget that when you're both famous footballers. To my teachers, Mrs. Matthew, Mr. McGarry, Mr. Mason, and all the incredible members of the PE department. Thank you for believing in me even when I didn't believe in myself, and for providing me with so many opportunities to better my future. And with that, I leave you with something a very special person who always saw the best in me no matter what, and supported me in whatever choice I made once told me. My grandfather once said, "You don't have superiors, only equals. Remember that. Remember you are just as capable and just as good as anyone else, and you can do anything you put your mind to. Thank you."
Having moved to Jeddah in Year 12, my time in JP has been short. Thanks to the small and friendly community, I felt welcome and comfortable within a matter of weeks. I feel lucky to be in classes with such intelligent people, as together we are able to fill the gaps in each other's knowledge and push each other to achieve high grades. I appreciate the time and effort the teachers put in to help us, but most of all their patience, as we definitely tested it throughout the last 2 years, and I'm sure the rest of you have been pushing it for a lot longer. For me, a memory that will always stay with me is the Soap Football Social. He told me that if you hand a group of intelligent and well-educated students a bottle of soap and a football, they turn into 6-year-olds. But more importantly, it reminded me that it's good to take a break from working hard to have fun sometimes. Back in year 10, I'd always procrastinate and leave my work to the morning it was due. My parents, like most, didn't like this, and they nagged me to work. And like any student, I didn't enjoy this. Finally, I struck a deal. They would leave me to work on my own until my grades fell, or a teacher would phone in to say I wasn't doing my homework. Luckily, they took the risk and agreed. This independence allowed me to rediscover the love of learning I had as a child and thrive academically. And so I thank you, Mum and Dad, for trusting me, supporting me, and allowing me to grow as a student and as a person. And finally, I thank you all, my friends, my classmates, and my teachers, for helping make this a fun and memorable 2 years.
Dear parents, pupils and colleagues, I appreciate that this is far from the ideal situation in which to bid you farewell. We are sacrificing not only the formality of the occasion, the splendour of the sports hall bedecked in flowers and decorations, but most importantly the company of the people who have contributed most to the journey that has brought you to this point in your lives. Your families, who sacrificed themselves to provide you with opportunity, your friends, you who have witnessed your meltdowns, and the staff who have guided you through the minefield of difficult curriculum content and tricky questions. Nevertheless, this is a key moment in your lives. One we need to celebrate and reflect upon as you prepare to move on to the next act in the drama that is your life. And boy, are some of you drama queens. So in this spirit, I want to say a few words. Arthur Miller's original title for his great modern tragedy, Death of a Salesman, was in fact Inside His Head. In the play, the house he lived in was to be represented as a human skull, with the rooms in which the action was to take place being viewed through windows, which were his own eyes and mouth. During the play, we witnessed the main character, Willie Loman, retreat even further into himself, obsessing on memories and withdrawing from those around him who truly cared for him. Recent events have reminded me of this play, although I hope to escape Willie's end. I am naturally pretty antisocial as a person. Over recent months, as we've slowly been corralled into increasingly smaller spaces for longer and longer periods of time, I found myself becoming more introverted and negative in my outlook. I share a flat with a good friend of over 25 years, but during the lockdown, we spoke for only 15 minutes a day during Ramadan over iftar. Virtual lessons have been no substitute for face-to-face human interaction, as I imagine students playing games on their phones, or in some cases when asking them questions, discovering that they'd left the room for toilet breaks. In short, there was no intimacy and no feedback, not even a puzzled look, a nodding head, whether in agreement or as a precursor to someone falling asleep. The result of this lack of human connection cannot be healthy as we obsess with ourselves in the absence of connection with others. Students who live in compounds have told me that they haven't set foot outside their villas, and some have spent the bulk of their day in their own rooms. My interactions with many of you have troubled me, as normally ebullient characters have seemed depressed, lethargic and almost obsessively worried about their results. The lockdown and its consequences have revealed the importance of society, and the fact that when separated from it, we experience frustration and a sense of lack of agency in our own lives as decisions are being made for us. We feel increasingly that our future is no longer in our own hands. For you, our graduates and leavers, as you prepare to step outside not just your room, your compound, your school, but also the country in which you've lived for much of your lives, this is not the best preparation. And it's important that you adapt your mindset to grasp the opportunities that these expanding horizons are set to present you. It's tempting to want to shrink your world to a size that's small enough to be manageable and tightly controlled. But choosing that path will rob you of opportunities to grow, and so lead to future frustration as you ask yourselves whether all that you have achieved, whether your potential has been fulfilled. The world is a wonderful place. Louis McNeice said it well when he described the world. The world is crazier and more of it than we think, incorrigibly plural. I peel and portion a tangerine and spit the pips and feel the drunkenness of things being various. The world is a truly wonderful place. When you escape your own head, when you leave your house, you venture out into the countryside and view things from a totally different perspective. I envy the journey of discovery that you're about to set out on. But having said that, there is nowhere that I would rather be right here, right now. For were I to wish otherwise, we might never have met, and my life would be poorer for that. To get to the fruit that life has to offer, you need to act, to remove the peel, to divide the fruit into segments, and to risk the bitterness of the pips in the hope that the reward will be worth it. So as I wish you farewell, I encourage you, the class of 2020, to suck out the last drop of sweet juice from the tangerine and enjoy the drunkenness that the various experience that this world has to offer. Goodbye and God bless.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go! Bring me down. Bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down. Can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down. Can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down. Can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go! Bring me down. Can't none bring me down. The love is too